What is up, y'all? Within today's video, we're going to be talking about Trisha Paytas and Jeffree Star yet again. And if you guys checked out my glam light video, I literally said in that video, like, oh, I'm gonna like mention this in there because I don't want to make a full video about it. But at that time, I had only seen the clip of Trisha Paytas and her live show where she like answered like, like hot seat style questions. And somebody had asked like, what's up with the podcast with Jeffree Star? And she had announced it within there. And that was only the little bit that I had saw of it, which I want to say was probably like a 30-second clip. So I was like, I'm not gonna make a full video out of this because I just feel like it's just, kind of repetitive and whatnot. But then she made that clip, which if you guys had saw that video already of me talking about glam light, I'm sure you already saw the clip that I'm talking about. I will play it again within today's video. But then she ended up talking about it on the podcast. Also, can I just say this from the jump of the video? Like, y'all know that I'm a rambler, and it's so crazy to me that I guess sometimes, obviously, like reading comments gets in your head. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes I'll always apologize for like rambling and things like that. And like sometimes I'll get off on a tangent. And then when I'm watching back my videos, I'm like, oh, like my little tangent is like 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes maximum. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like when I watch Trisha Paytas, like she literally titled her video like something, I forget the exact name of the podcast that she did. She literally titled the video something along the lines of Jeffree Star. And I'm like, this is over 3 hours long. It was over 3 hours long. I was sitting here like, oh my gosh, like where's the tea? Honestly, I just didn't have the patience for it, if I'm keeping it real. Look, I do love a long podcast, especially when I have things to do around the house. If I got laundry, if I'm cooking, I love a long podcast. I really do feel like sometimes an hour is too short. For me personally, I like a good hour and a half to 2 hours. When it goes to 3 hours, I'm like, whoa, that's like literally the length of the Titanic. And I just feel like it's just too long. Do you know what I mean? I feel like obviously for the Titanic, it makes sense. It's literally a movie, but I just feel like sometimes a podcast that long is just like, whoa, it kind of loses my attention. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna watch this whole thing because literally when I had saw it, right, it said premiere, so I couldn't like fast forward to like the sections weren't up, or the chapters I should say, not sections. And then I ended up seeing the full clip on TikTok, so I wanted to talk about it within today's video because she finally addressed the situation. I want to say, first of all, I wish you would have like low-key done it before because obviously everyone was just speculating in the meantime. I'm kind of surprised that Jeffree Star hasn't like fully spoken out about it on like a TikTok or something because I really do feel like he's the type of person to do that. We all know that he doesn't really shut up. So I feel like, or not shut up, I mean it in the aspect of like he doesn't really keep his mouth shut, I guess I should say. So I really felt like he would have like said something about it, but I guess there really is no beef between them. I low-key am like hearing different things. If you guys had not seen the very first video that I made talking about this topic, to where I was saying that like Rich Lux apparently talked to somebody who was on a Jeffree Star live, and Jeffree Star supposedly, allegedly, had said that basically the podcast didn't go the way that Trisha had intended, so therefore she didn't want to upload it. Those were his words. Obviously, I said within that video, I don't have a screen recording of that actual live, and neither did this person who is alleging that Jeffree Star said that. So I was like, y'all, take it with a grain of salt. I really don't know if it is true. If there is truth to that, I think it does suck because I feel like at the end of the day, sometimes this is just me. I feel like we have conversations with people, and hey, maybe you like think about things after, and you're like, well, damn, I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have said it this way. I wish I could reword it. And I really do feel like that's normal. That's natural. Every single podcast that you film is not going to be perfect. It's not going to be like the most well thought out words. When you're sitting there having hours longs of conversation with somebody, obviously sometimes you're going to get things a little bit jumbled. You may, say things that you didn't really mean to, or say, for example, if you like meant to say it one way, it comes out a different way. I just feel like that's us as humans. Like we all just do that. So I do feel like if that is the case, I think it sucks that Trisha Paytas canceled it. And you know what's so crazy is actually seeing on TikTok, you guys know that I was telling you guys for the longest time, I was kind of upset that she said that she's not going to be uploading this podcast. And actually watching like more TikToks about her addressing the situation, also from the clips of her at her live show to where she answered these questions, stating that she wasn't going to be uploading the podcast. So many more people were saying, oh my gosh, like just upload it. Now we really want to see it. And I am so curious now more than ever to know how the podcast went and what the direction was, because now it's just kind of like, okay, you're saying these very vague things about it, which I will, play a clip within today's video, or two clips to show you guys where she addressed this topic twice. It's very vague, so therefore somebody like me, I'm like more curious now more than ever. Now I'm like, girl, like you're giving us a reason as to why you're not uploading, but now I'm like, what's the real tea? Like I really do feel everything that this person was claiming that Jeffree Star said on that live, basically saying it didn't go the way that she wanted, that's starting to make a little bit more sense now. And it seems like she's wording it towards like Jeffree Star and like, oh, like he's on a different like track in life, and basically, this is old stuff that he doesn't want to talk about anymore. But clearly Jeffree Star has no problem talking about nothing. Like if you guys seen him on TikTok live, he has no problem addressing any type of drama. He's a very confrontational person. So So I don't see that as really being the truth. And I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel, in my opinion, I feel like either A, she is scared of the viewers, because you guys know that when she had like did her TikTok with Jeffree Star, there was thousands, and I mean thousands of people saying, no, Trish, don't do that. I have said multiple times, I totally disagree with that. I'm like, oh my gosh, she has a bad past too, so does he. Like, it's like, come on, at the end of the day, they both are not angels. So it's like, hello, what do you expect? Also, I have to say, I feel like what it is too, and I feel like people are going to be in for a rude awakening when it comes into Trisha Paytas. I feel like Trisha Paytas over the past, I would say maybe about year to 2 years now, she has gotten so many new young followers who don't know too much about her past. And you guys know everybody's cancellation always makes a repeat. I want to say like every 3 years, every influencer, I always see their new cancellation. As soon as they get more followers, they grow more, their cancellations come back up. And I feel like that's going to come back up with Trisha Paytas. Somebody's going to make a compilation of like all the things that she said was offensive and like crazy. And then people are going to be like, oh my gosh, Trisha's so bad. And it's like, okay, this happened 10 years ago. So it's kind of like, come on, like she's changed. But obviously, I feel like she has a bad past too. So does Jeffree Star. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. Upload the damn podcast, okay? Anyway, so within today's video, I will be showing you guys the clips of it, and then we'll be talking about it, which basically I already talked about everything. But I don't know, y'all. I'm still a little bit upset. I really wanted to know how that podcast went, especially being that like supposedly they talked about Dramageddon and like what everything like had went down with Tati Westbrook and James Charles and all these things. And I'm just like, damn, like I want to know the tea. Y'all know I'm nosy as hell. That's why I make these videos. So I'm just like, can you upload the podcast, girl? Send me a little clip or something so I can see it. Anyways, let me shut up. Let's go to get into it. So let me just go ahead and play both of these clips back to back for you guys so that way you guys can see, like, obviously when she answered these questions to her live audience, she basically said the same thing on her podcast. She did say it a little bit more in the length. I'm still upset about it, y'all. I'm so sorry. I'm forever going to be upset about it because I want to know what the hell was said on that podcast. I want to know what they talked about. And I actually thought it was really cool that they could like meet up after not talking for so many years and like actually sit down and have a conversation. And that was going to be, you know, public. And I thought that was actually really cool. And I think that that's really cool for the viewers who love them both together and watched all their videos together. And I thought that it would have been a really, you know, unique experience to be able to see them like hash it out and talk about their drama and talk about everything that went wrong. Because if you guys didn't follow along with their past beef before the whole Vegas trip, I feel like it was very vague. Nobody really said exactly what went down. And then I feel like the majority of the issue got blown up even more because of Jeffree Star's hairdresser. So that's why I'm just kind of like, damn, like I want to know like what was the actual tea. But then once again, and this is why I'm just keeping it with you guys. Yes, I'm gonna be so real with you guys. I am so damn nosy. That's the real reason why I want to watch the podcast. But then also too, they kind of mess up in this by not uploading it, because then it leaves people to speculate that maybe there's more beef, you know, between them, and maybe they got into it on the podcast and they don't want to upload that. That's kind of like what people are speculating online. So that's why I'm like, just upload the podcast. Anyways, go ahead and check out the clip right here.
This will be clips everywhere. Why did the Jeffree podcast never air? Bring drama back. You know what I mean? It's not bad or anything. It wasn't bad. It's just like, let's not, you know. I like the cute key, and then when you realize it's a little bit more drama, then you like know, especially like on his end. And I think he's trying not to be drama. He told me so. It's like overall general, I was like, it's probably better just not to air it. But
because literally all the comments are always like, "Where's the Jeffree episode?" It's really not that deep, not that serious. I've actually like talked to Jeffree. Like Jeffree's like, if you don't want to post the video, like it was a while ago, whatever. And he's like, if you don't want to post it, like I understand. Lots of like reasons went into this. What I realized doing the podcast is, obviously our beef or whatever is so minor compared to things. We talked about Dramageddon, and to us it was just a fun little key. Like to me it was like so almost like silly. It was because we're not involved with it. I was like, God, it's just actually so silly. There is a lot of like darkness to it before even the Jeffree of it all got involved. But then Jeffree was here, and I realized like it's not a cute key for him or like other people involved. Like there's a lot of like, I won't even say bad feelings. I think there's just a lot of unresolved feelings between everybody. So much I don't want to say miscommunication, but just there's just a lot happening there. And it's like, and while he was here, he's like, I'm so tired of talking about this. But he was like, I'll talk about it because you asked. So then I kind of felt bad, and I feel that. I feel it in a way where it's like, oh, I don't want to talk about things, but when people bring it up, and Jeffree's very much like, I'll talk about whatever. He does like TikTok live and stuff. But he's like, I just don't want to talk about, like, I'm just over talking about this. So then after like sitting on it for a while, I felt kind of off on the video because again, I don't want to be the Dave and Bree without Grace. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many parts to the story, and I was not involved in it at all. I don't know any of these people involved, so I'm like, let me just not have this where it's like so many people are hurt by it. There's so much like darkness, there's so much hurt. I've heard Tati's side, James has been quiet, Jeffree's side, and it's just all very murky and sad, and everything's really sad, and kind of none of it really ends well for anyone. So for me, everything's been like good vibes, and I wouldn't even say Jeffree was bad vibes, but just overall, you know, I listened to you guys and kind of just gauged the situation, and I saw that he went uncanceled, and you know, in general, it just wasn't something I wanted to like partake in anymore. Like in a sense of drama, like I feel like we were in like different places. I'm in a very different place. And I was like, oh, I just don't want to bring that up, especially when it involves other people and it's like so heavy. When we talk about drama on here, especially Dramageddon, I feel like it's a key. It's like funny. We keep it as light as possible. And if there's any dark stuff, we try to like not talk about that. But I feel like it just was a little dark and heavy for so many people involved.
There y'all have it right there. She is saying like she just didn't want to upload it because obviously this is just like old drama and like things that have been talked about so many times. But I'm like, not really. If you guys follow along with Jeffree Star, there's so many different like vague things that have happened. Shane Dawson never really like made a tell-all type of thing about it. Neither did Jeffree Star. Obviously James Charles. I feel like James Charles out of all of them probably has stayed silent the most. But we all know why, obviously, because it's kind of like, oh, he's like, let me just stay out of this. That's why I always say, too, I feel like whenever Jeffree Star throws shade at James Charles, I know for a fact he sees it. And he doesn't say anything about it, which is kind of crazy because I don't know if y'all remember, but James Charles and Trisha Paytas actually got into it before on TikTok. They had a big old beef on TikTok. So I'm like, clearly he has no problem calling people out and speaking out about situations. I think that he's scared of Jeffree Star. That's just my opinion. I feel like Jeffree Star has something on him that like is, you know, obviously going to make James Charles look way bad. So he's like, you know what? Let me just let him talk shit about me. I'm gonna just sit over here, stay in my lane, and be quiet. But I feel like there's obviously so many different sides of the story that we don't know. And I think that it would have been cool to actually hear from Jeffree Star and hear about it later on. Maybe new news would have came out. But obviously we are never going to get that episode, which is really unfortunate. I legitimately think that probably would have been like one of her highest viewed podcasts. So I think this is how much she just doesn't want it out there. It's just my opinion, okay? It is just my opinion that I think that there is something said on there, or maybe Jeffree Star said something or brought something up that she just didn't want out there, because I really do think, like, girl, you took all the time to film this podcast. Jeffree Star flew over here to, like, film it, and you're not going to upload it? Like, I don't know. There's really something within that podcast that she doesn't want out there. That's just my opinion. Anyways, make sure you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions about everything. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, Girl Scout.